Howdy there everybody and welcome to watch me talk about the Nintendo Partner Showcase Direct, whatever just happened, I don't know what it's called. And I think I'm opposite to everybody else online. I actually really liked it. I think it was a really good Direct, yeah? Because I'm thinking a little bit ahead of everybody else, and I'm realizing this Direct took the L for the actual mainline Direct when that happens, because all the slop that was meant to be in there was directed here, and then there were a couple of cool announcements here. So I actually would rate this as the Direct, just for the sacrifice it had to do for the mainline Direct, yeah. Well done, you get applause. Basically, it was 15 minutes of slop, and then 10 minutes of actually good announcements, for me at least, that I was interested in. It actually opened with a quite strong announcement. I haven't played the earlier Monster Hunter Stories games. They have always looked interesting, but they also look a little bit childish for my taste, and this seems to be taking a little bit more mature direction, which I actually really like. And based on the trailer, it looked a little bit like it took some inspiration from Breath of the Wild. You had the characters falling off the cliff and kind of like gliding in the air. So I feel like the exploration could be cool in that game too. And honestly, it was a really impressive opening for the Direct. And then it went downhill quite, quite fast after that. If you ask me what was after that, I don't even remember. Probably the next announcement that had any weight on me was the Hyrule Warriors one. And even that was not showcasing anything new, I guess. I don't feel like that trailer did anything to me. And we didn't even get a release date. Which actually I think it's a good thing, because remember this Direct is taking the L for the actual one. And what makes me think that too is that we have so many games that don't have release dates that were announced already. We had Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Professor Layton, Hades 2. All of those that I thought would be here and would get release dates. No shows. Nada. Which is a shame, because I was quite excited to pick either Elden Ring or Final Fantasy. Because those are games that I haven't actually played yet. And I'm quite interested in them. I just want to see how they run on the Switch. Especially Elden Ring. Is it playable? Because I feel like good stable frame rate is really key there. But we didn't see any of them. What we instead saw was what I call 15 minutes of swap. Announcements of like sports games that I have no interest in. They could have been just released as trailers on the YouTube channel, if you ask me. And then there were a couple weird choices, like the campfire game. How does that deserve? Was it at least 1 minute spot on the Direct? I would understand if that is in the like montage or something like that. But that game was just keeping a fire on. I don't understand how much money they needed to pay to get that spot. But yeah, I understand in the way that it's using the social aspect of the Switch too. You can use the camera and see your friends and have a chat trying to keep a fire on, but I can go do that on my backyard. Yeah, it was definitely an odd choice to give such a long spot on the Direct. And then some of the other games, like Star Wars Outlaws and Chronos, excited for both of them, but the footage in the Direct has me a little bit worried. It didn't look great. Sometimes it can be the YouTube compression, but I have a bad feeling about them. They feel a little bit rushed to me, because there are games that showcase how well the games can run on the Switch too. So just take your time with the ports. Apex Legends though looked really good to me, and I'm excited to give it a go, because it's a little bit more demanding game that I can try free on the Switch and just see how it runs. So I get an idea how well games can run on that system. So I'm actually quite excited to try that, and as well use the mouse controls, because I don't think there are any first-person shooters yet that I can control with the mouse. So I'm excited to give that one a go as well. Also, what was a huge plus for me was the messaging. I remember back when, for example, PS5 released, the messaging was a little bit confusing. What games were releasing on what platform? Was there a cost to upgrading to the next-gen system? I remember they didn't do the messaging great. Here, it was done excellently. You had to switch to and switch one logo. And then I liked the new, can you call it UI elements or whatever, you had the pre-order thing that popped up with the release date. I really liked that. I was also very surprised there was no Nintendo Switch 2 edition third-party games announced. A little bit disappointed in that, or just upgrades to boost the frame rate or the visuals. I think the only one that had that was Romancing Saga 2, which is actually a game that I have been looking to pick up, but it hasn't been on such a deep sales yet. I'm still waiting to pick that up, but this has me a little bit more excited to pick it up. And hopefully it has a demo on the eShop. I hope the upgrades apply to that too, so I can just test out how it looks now and runs. And then also there was a demo for Shinobi, which I also have been keeping my eye on. Visually it looks great, and the price is quite low, it's like 25 euros or something like that. So I've been thinking it would be a fun pickup for the Switch too. It's probably not even that long of a game. I think it could be fun, and now I can give it a go and see if I like it. And then in the end you kind of had the saving grace. Square Enix coming clutch. When I saw their logo show up, I was like, okay, now we are getting at least the Final Fantasy VII Remake release then. Nope. But the games they showcased look super cool. I think it's so cool how the HD2D team experiments with different genres. They have done like proper RPGs, the both Octopath Travelers. Then they have done SRPG with Triangle Strategy. And now they are doing an action RPG that actually looks pretty interesting and has a demo. I will be playing that also today and giving it a go. Sadly, it's releasing next year, but it's nice to have something to look for, because there isn't too much of those on the Switch 2 yet. And where I was sad about it releasing next year, we have Octopath Traveler 0, which out of these two announcements was a little bit less exciting for me, but it's releasing in December, and I'm definitely excited to see more of it. I don't think it completely sold me on it, based on this trailer, but it looks interesting. And as a person who loves RPGs, I definitely keep my eye on it. And I think it was a nice 1-2 punch to end the direct. And it kind of left me on a positive note too. So yeah, it definitely wasn't the greatest of directs, even when it comes to the partner showcases. They usually have been decent. I don't think this was though. It had good announcements, but it was filled with slop that I don't think I or most of the people didn't care about. And it felt like a little bit of a slog, at least to me. But yeah, I feel like this is just confirmation we will have a mainline direct soon. Just because there were so many games missing that are slated for this year and need release dates. And there isn't that many months left anymore. So I feel like that is happening sooner rather than later. And when it does, I will be doing a proper reaction to that. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the direct? Were you a little bit more positive on it than I was? And what were interesting announcements for you? Was the Monster Hunter game or the two RPGs in the end interesting? Or was there something a little bit more interesting for you, somewhere in the middle? And if you have your Switch 2, how you are feeling at the moment? I personally feel like there are cool announcements, but I just don't know when they are releasing. It's a little bit frustrating. It also applies to the Nintendo first-party games. And if you need a cool third-party game to give it a go, it's only 50 minutes long. Dear me, I was here, just released yesterday. I already played through it last night. And it's basically more of a visual novel than a game, but it's done in a really cool art style. And it actually had a pretty good story, which at least had a good impact on me. So give that one a go. If you are yearning for something to play on your Switch too, I fully recommend that. And I think it was only like 10 euros or a little bit less. But yeah, excited to hear your thoughts on the Direct. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I see you here next time. Goodbye. Also, don't look at my eyes, they are so red. It's so hot in here, my face is also just red. My eyes are dying. Basically because I need to have a fan directly pointed at me, because otherwise this whole house would be a sauna. And when I'm done with this recording, I'm just ripping my shirt off and running to the shower. This was a real sacrifice for me to dress up and do this.